Hello, my name is ERATTIC and today I am going to be showing all of the secret raid bosses inside the Chaos Chambers and how you can fight each one in Wonderlands. If you see anything you like in today's video, please be sure to hit the like and subscribe for more. At the time of recording, we are at 340 subscribers, which is amazing, but I'm looking to see if we can hit that 500 sub goal. I'm hoping you'll be the one that gets me there. To start the video, I'm going to show how we get all three bosses inside the Chaos Chambers and then talk about the boss fights showing gameplay towards the end. I ran all this back with a couple of my friends who kindly took part in helping to get these bosses and taking them down. This was all done in the process of my Chaos Trials reaching levels 6 and 7. I was playing Clawbringer at the time, which is why I wanted to get my friend in because he was on a Stebamancer running content at Chaos level 20 already and had some good gear, so I was going to need some help taking some of these bosses down. The three main secret bosses inside the Chaos Chamber all have very cool but complex names, so I'm going to refer to them in this video as Keeper of Nature, Keeper of the Sands, and Keeper of the Abyss. There is no particular order to do any of these bosses apart from the puzzles that spawn in each encounter randomly if you're choosing to do all three. You can do one or two as well, of your choice, it's just up to you when you're going through your run. Finally, before I explain them, I do not know the specific locations for where all these specific puzzles are, but hopefully if you run the Chaos Chambers back enough, doing the puzzles enough, you can learn some of the specific locations for the areas like I do. If you wish to activate the Keeper of Nature, you will need to interact with this symbol right here. Once you do that, you will need to follow the light and jump on the mushroom that spawns out of the ground. Doing so will start the mini puzzle where you need to shoot the spores that come out of the mushroom in order of which they glow purple. There's 3 stages to it, with 1 spore being added each time, up to 5 needing to be shot before touching the ground. If you fail, the mushroom will disappear and you'll need to follow the light to try again somewhere else in the area. Fail 3 times and the puzzle will disappear for the rest of the chamber run. If you succeed though, the mushroom will explode and that will be ready for you at the end of your run. If you wish to activate the Keeper of the Sands, you will need to interact with this symbol right here. Once you do that, you will need to follow the yellow light and shoot the glowing rock. Doing so will break it into a light like something you see from a lighthouse spinning in circles on the spot. You need to break this light again by shooting it whilst not being ever in its line of sight, shining on you. If it shines on you, you will then be blinded and you will have to follow it to another position on the map to break it again. The closer you get to breaking it, the faster the light spins. Sometimes you'll do a certain amount of damage to it and it might move, however if you're fast enough and do lots of damage to it, it will break super quick. If you're blinded 3 times by the puzzle, you will fail and this puzzle will disappear for the rest of the run. If you're successful then, the light will break and that will be at the end of the run. If you wish to activate the Keeper of the Abyss, you will need to interact with this symbol right here. Once you do that, you will need to follow the light to a blue circle on the floor where there are 3 blue balls of light floating in the air. If there are multiple people in your game, all of you will need to stand in the ring and wait for a ball to increase in size. When the ball is glowing, big and charged, the ball will start to track whoever it's closest to and you will need to take the ball to a certain point in the area somewhere else where there will be a blue, darker and much larger ball. The ball that's tracking you needs to reach that end goal and explode by you shooting the ball when it's close enough that the blast radius will catch it and break it. Hopefully that makes some sort of sense as well while I'm talking about it with some gameplay in the background. This one is particularly the toughest one to activate. So on to the boss fights now, and the Keeper of Nature in my opinion is the toughest boss of the 3 main ones just because of the health bar type and how the stunning works. A thing to note is that with all these bosses there are similar mechanics to how you activate each corresponding one for the puzzle. So just like the nature puzzle, so in some parts of the fight you need to shoot down the spores that the boss will shoot out from his back, otherwise he will fill the area with big poisonous domes and slowly kill you over time. Stuns are short but can happen over the course of the fight by shooting the glowing purple ball that flashes when the boss is going to strike. All the moves are quite fast, which can make it hard to quickly do this, so for most of the time you'll want to be dodging its attacks, which isn't particularly hard. There is a downtime to stunning the boss as well when he glows all green, because you won't be able to shoot any of the purple glowing balls that are showing where he's going to strike with his hand or with his tail in the air and so on. Onto the Keeper of Sands, and I think this is the easiest one out of the three due to its health type and how the fight works as a whole. Just like the puzzle for this one, you'll need to make sure you don't get blinded periodically throughout the fight. By making sure you're not looking at the light this time round, you are able to turn your back to it to ensure you don't get blinded. If he's upright and the light comes out above the boss, you'll have a short time to break it to stun before he wipes most of your health away. The boss will also go underground whilst moving around with the light above the boss too. The difference here is that the light will spin in circles while the boss is moving, and you'll need to break it before it inevitably blinds you anyway. All the boss's attacks are fairly easy to dodge amongst all that due to the size of the arena. Onto the last main boss of the three, being my favourite, the Keeper of the Abyss, because of the health type and how the stun mechanic works for this boss. The boss will spawn 3 dark balls, with all them being spaced on each side of the arena. Just like the puzzle, you'll need to shoot the light blue balls in the radius of the dark ones to break them. If successful, the ball will float up and freeze the boss wherever he is for you to have a big damage phase. This one only has a couple of moves which are easy to dodge, but sometimes the light blue balls aren't breakable, which can get frustrating because they do a lot of damage if you get hit by one. Okay, and now moving on to the final and 4th secret boss in the game for the chambers, being Tiny Tina herself as the Maker. The way you activate this boss is by simply doing all 3 of the other boss's puzzles and then defeating them. If you do, you will end up doing one more boss fight with Tina. She easily is the hardest boss right now in the game due to how the fight works, making it lengthy, which makes you needing to survive for longer. I did this with 2 other people at Chaos level 20 in the end, in the featured run, which is the easiest way for me to get to this boss, being able to find all the puzzles in the exact same locations for the week. We chose to buy a lot of buffs with our crystals during this run because our builds are not very spec'd out to do insane damage, so if you have not got a boss killing build, just expect this fight to be quite long. So when the fight starts, she will be throughout the entirety of the fight spawning these void bunnies. What you need to do is break the bunnies whilst avoiding them trying not to get hit, and a plasma purple ball will break from them once you have broken one. You then need to go over to it and smack it into Tina's face. Because her HP bar is massive, this is one of the best ways to do damage to her consistently if you aren't really able to do massive amounts of damage with your weapons directly. So whilst you're doing that, as her health depletes, she will summon a dice block above her head and roll a number. I believe whatever the number she rolls is the spell she casts in the arena to attack you with. At first, she only does one periodically at a time until she starts getting really low and she starts to cast multiple spells in the arena and can start to get really messy in there. One of the spells is these beams that go across the floor, which can make you slide off like a treadmill off the arena, going in all sorts of different directions. There's a spell that shoots beams across the arena, which can smack you in the face for lots and lots of damage, but this can be avoided as well and can be removed by a statue in the middle, which is what I went for in our runs and stopped attacking the void bunnies if needed. And then I believe she also decides to cast meteors from the sky and shoot them into the ground, making it even more chaotic because we're trying to attack those void bunnies and trying to create those plasma balls to smack in her face. She does also have these moments as well where if she rolls a dice block or she's just sat in the middle, it does seem like there's a good damage window there to do damage against her. And I'm not quite sure as well, but we believed in our run that if she rolled a 1, she would do big amounts of damage to herself, or we had a big window to do lots of damage to her as well. That wasn't done in this run, that was done in another run. And I think that's it for today's video. It took me a while to make this one, but we got there in the end. So if you stuck around to the end, you are truly awesome, and I want to thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.